you have madness, you know, afoot, and we're about to jump right into it. The winner will play FlyQuest. The loser going down there into the lower bracket. Vicky, we'll see right away what strategy Rad is going to go with, if it's the same old or something different. Stage 2, day 1, folks. Darkzero versus Rad. I'm hyped.
Let's get this started. I've been waiting for this, Cozy. We only had a few days of break between our group stage into playoffs, and we get started with our first game of our second series. The first wave of bans already coming out. No Jeff, no Mantis from the other side. Rad also understanding that Mantis being as strong as she has been, we've been seeing a lot, basically this ban being the most consistent one across the region.
Absolutely. Here now, locking in and getting in. We've got our team's picks, the bans ready to roll. It's Jeff right off the table to shut down anything that Pizza Demon might do. And actually, look at it. Pizza Demon not here. Pizza Demon is not here. We have a sub in. I'm going to try to say that name. What am I looking at? Unoven? Unoven here. It's going to be coming in for Pizza Demon, which is kind of crazy. Wow. Pizza Demon, great player. So obviously, my guess would be, you know, it's something that they couldn't help on wanting to be here, or maybe just a change up. But the Jeff will be banned. On the other side, Korova not going to get that either. So far, both teams have Adam. We've seen Darkzero lock and ban the Adam in this pick ban here in Domination.
If they're going to let that pass through, oh, the ban onto the Star-Lord. The Star-Lords have been out, and that's also an influx of a pick that we've been seeing a lot, too, by the later half of our group stage, Cozy, as the Protect over onto the Emma comes out. Something that we, of course, were highlighted already from Rad, as we've seen before. And as the Phoenix is the next ban here, I wonder when this last safety pick is going to be. If there's no ban on the Atom, we could get away with a lot, and it's actually going to be the Emma this time around for Darkzero.
Yeah, looking for the save there. Madara have been playing such consistent. Emma, same there for Gilbert. Well, actually, I like the Emma save. That kind of gives us a little bit of a peek of what they might do. Kuru, by the way, I love the Angela hover. Even if they don't plan to play, just like giving the shout out to it. There's the Korova respect. You love to see it there from them. But Darkzero, we've seen time and time again, they kind of bait it out. They want it to be banned. They have other things up their sleeve because Korova is so flexible. But Adam and Jeff banned. Look at, he hasn't locked in yet. He's like, well, dang, what? I guess I'll go to Invisible Woman. Yeah, that's what I expected there from him. As we have Guru over to Emma. That's what I wanted to see here, Vic.
Yeah, we've seen Korova also run the cloak, right? It's between the cloak, the Invisible Woman, and also keep your eyes on Darkzero, usually using these safety picks onto the Emma Frost, because Madara is such a good Emma Frost. And if it's usually not the Emma, Madara would have to be forced to go onto the Doctor Strange. But we start off another series here on Celestial Husk, Cozy.
Yeah, this is always such a chaotic map. From the grand finals now to day 1, we saw a good battle there between Nemesis and Fly on this exact map. Again, it's October, it's spooky season. It's very appropriate here. Can't wait to see. Man, I hope at land, Vicky, they've got people dressing up. We got the crowd here dressed up as Jeff the baby land sharks. We'll have to see, though, who's going to trick, who's going to treat, as Rad and Darkzero look to kick this thing off.
And Jeff-O-Lantern, maybe? Carved pumpkins? I'm so excited to get ready, as our teams are also looking to punch their ticket into Hotland of themselves as we come out of the gates already with a Doctor Strange portal with Unoven.
Perfection.
All right, portal out here, jumping right into the aggressiveness is going to be Rad here, taking up on the high ground. Quick switch over. Love the instant positioning from the team. Amazing knows the task ahead of him, throwing the Tritons, bringing the whole sea with him now, putting the Snowflake on Impunity so he can go do his thing against that back line continuously. It's Hulk v Hulk. That's going to be a good one here now as Guru pushes in. Already love the look here from Rad.
By the way, Gilbert Noodle being on the Atom, this is not a drill too, as they're going to be able to be flexible working with the sub, and it's double Gamma Squids from both sides. You can hear them like a chorus in the background while Gale takes the skies over onto this Ultron. No point flip just yet. Rad having a little bit more extension here as Darkzero are trying to split up this attention, jumping up on the high ground.
Folks smashing, teams clashing. It's close now to Rad getting this thing. Now jumping right into it. Right, Mason's trying to get this out of there. That's huge. Oh, wow. The sustain it from Impunity. That bedtime Gale. Forky and friends get everyone out of this thing into point cap first. That's already a good momentum changer for this team, getting the first laugh on Domination.
Talk about that last-minute bubble, by the way, before he jumped out, literally by a pixel. He has his boost banner right now, but it's just a matter of time with Darkzero moving up and the extermination to open up this fight from Smash.
Now we'll see here now as Guru pushing in. Frozen and Fabulous is Emma Frost now with, look at the good comms coming from him in the player cam. Love to see it. Gale up in the skies as Ultron rotates down as the Hulk pushes forward. And it was close once again. These Hulks are getting away with it time and time again with 0 health. Back to full. Extermination out. Age of Gale continues. Punishing the team, healing his own now as both Gamma Gods are up and ready to roll. Pushing forward. Seduction happening from Guru. Having all eyes on him as the streamer and the player now. And he's got the Hulk trapped in his web, but the disappear comes up. Kurova, invisible boundary is locked. And it's a show-up response from Forky Dog, Vicky.
Keeping him alive here too. Nice Will coming down to allow Velocity to get stunned, but he had that fatal bolt roll to keep everybody alive. But Frozen onto Impunity as Gilbert Noodle up on the high ground has a Karmic Revival bringing everybody back. Bedtime Story, you see these things getting taken down, but Darkzero have to pinpoint where Gilbert Noodle is as he also has that passive.
What a sneaky little ult there. That's an incredible job from Gilbert, bringing this team back alive in this thing, but it is 11% in climbing. Darkzero was able to get this right back. Ult-wise, Moderate does have the seduction. Close up is going to be Gale, but they can get the pressure pushing forward, but it's Amazing. King of Duelists, King of the Sea here now pushing forward. Good pressure on the back line. Gale has that extermination ready to pop. He is going to use it now, and it's going to be in combination with Monster Hulk. It's Gamma God and the Age of Ultron pushing down on both teams now. Smash matching that as well from Darkzero. It's going to be Bedtime Story getting the laugh and Gilbert getting out.
And Smash not being able to get away when he had popped that extermination too. Gale had used it first, but it was a lot more aggressive versus Smash versus his defensive Ultron ultimate. And Amazing does find Gale in the process, but the trades way more in favor of Rad as now the flip here with Darkzero already being at 50%. Rad have not been able to flip it just yet, and the stall is still happening for Darkzero.
Yeah, trying to get wave, wipe, and win. The whales are not connecting this time around from either Namors as they match each other. Look at Bedtime Story, the cat going wild. Just absolutely celebrating what is the chaos of this matchup so far. 66-63. We knew we were in for a good one. The grand finale, Luna says it best with the show up, keeping people alive. Gilbert was clutch on the last resurrection. Vicky, let's see if his positioning's timing right, giving the aggression there as Guru goes down. Going to force Gilbert now to res if they want to keep this fight going.
Already at 85% though, and Smash is going to be able to restabilize everyone, get a lot more aggressive, build up the space, and waste more time away from Rad. This is going to force Guru to be on that Doctor Strange and then recontest here with the Doctor Strange portal.
Look at Guru just chewing the gum, the confidence. He's chill. He knows what he needs to do. Team jumping in and ready. Don't want the body blocks. They don't want it either. 97% in climbing. And right now, Rad's got the toolkit to screen melt this team as Kurova. Good positioning and good freeze there. Once again, from the Hulk. Gale pushing in. Whale goes out. Connection down. Staggers there, but no eliminations as Amazing setting up his Cave of the Deep. Gets one down. Pushing forward. The rise comes from Gilbert at the best time possible.
That's a death cave right there, too. You do not want to contest if you want to be met with those squids on the other side. And the support sustain from Smash. Darkzero in the driver's seat at 99%. And Rad with Guru having that Eye of Agamotto coming up soon. Have to decide whether they want to try to invest in this now as they try to push all the way up. Bedtime Story staying alive to reposition.
Yeah, trying to drown them out here. Blessing the Deeps have been used, but look at that Cave of Amazing. Continues to punish. Guru's down with it. That's a rough one now as Forky Dog is going to keep this team up somewhat. The portal has been used. Guru does fall with the ultimate. It's brutal. Where goes down? Can he get into the cave? No, not enough here, Vicky. They cannot get this point right back. Has to stay on it. Guru takes a long walk back, and right now, one by one, goes the team, and Darkzero is looking to clutch up point one.
Not even the Will could force him out of that cave. Once you saw Amazing set up there, he literally could not get evicted. That was insane pressure just based off of their positioning alone to play off that low ground.
It quite literally drowned him out, right? Like, just put up Atlantis and then did the rest. I mean, that was such a perfect rotation and positioning from that team. Bedtime Story's playing well, as, you know, if you look at it, but want that one back. This team, I do like that they are, you know, changing up comp a bit, trying to change things up from what they did run in the seeding stage. They had a good start, Vicky. Got to continue to figure this thing out.
And breaking this down too, with Unknown coming in, you have to imagine the conversation that we had, Cozy, going into the series, talking about having a lot more diverse Vanguard picks that they could lean into. This is working out. They have the Hulk, yes, they have the Namor coming out. Gilbert Noodle, though, on the Atom was starting things off great. We see the swap up here as he still at least stays on the Atom going into this next round. But Darkzero, the stall that was there for them, just prevented Rad from even flipping the point, despite having these individual pickoffs that they had.
Well, if they want time to reset, it came at a great time here as we get things locked and loaded once again. But yeah, no, that's a good point, Vic. And I think when it came down to it, it was the second rotation of Ultimates that just did not go in favor at all in terms of Rad and what they want to put together. A team that we actually gave a lot of praise to for how good the comms were and landing things when needed. But right now, I think the story is, well, first of all, I would love to know kind of what's going on with the sub-in. We would love to see, kind of what's going on there. But other than that, because Pizza Demon's is a hard player to replace. The Hulk v Hulk matchup, the pressure has been immense, though.
What if it's just because they want to prioritize maybe Gilbert having an Atom and Pizza maybe not having as strong of an Atom, considering his pool is that Jeff, which did get banned out, but it's not why he just came in as a sub, but the Ultron and Loki too. Whereas we do see Gale popping off on the Ultron, and we do know that Gale also having an Atom, so they have that flexibility if they could lean into it. But yeah, definitely have to figure out what's going on there, but they could find these slot-ins. You could see with the Hulk, the Namor, but then to deal with that and Darkzero when they had the prio positioning to set up in that cave alone, they have to be able to not only figure out, okay, well, if we don't have to worry about the Atom anymore, no more resurrections are going to come in, we're just going to babysit this bottom end of this cave right now in this first point.
That's a great point. And, looking at it too, it just feels like, you said it best. Obviously, it's good to have your aim gods there on Ultron. We've seen a lot of teams do that, Speeder and whatnot. But I always love when we get to see these, these players that are so mechanically gifted on heroes that can truly separate themselves. Speedery quickly switching over we saw a big difference there whenever Envy did that. Would love to see that potentially with Gale maybe on the next matchup. But this is what they're rolling with here. And this face cam is sending me here as bedtime stories. Looks to go in. Amazing and Madara do have the combo to set up if they'd like to go with that. These whales have not connected thus far on either team.
Hey, yo, they've been trying to. A lot of stun potential here, too, with these freezes that we've also seen between Forkydong and Velocity is Guru. With the diamond pulled out and the follow-up on the strategist, they take out Velocity and Madara in the process. Kurova falling incredibly low as Amazing's the next to fall, and this is going to be the point going to Rad Esports first here, but the stock comes out between Impunity.
That cold-blooded nature of Guru doesn't even have a facial expression change as he gets 3 limbs. Just another day at the office. Bedtime Story continuing to push forward. Even with what they just did, Darkzero's at 25% and climbing. Extermination from Smash and the Whale. A lot coming at them there. Good rotation from Bedtime Stories. Guru trying to get people looking at him as Gale throws down the combo with it. It's going to be the Monster Hulk. They're sending all the cues. They got to get something out of this, but instead, Gale falls. That's brutal for this team, Vicky.
That's a fact with Rad trying to get more of these picks and Impunity stalling for as long as possible. The Born Again rings out in the arena from Gilbert Noodle. They can get a lot more aggressive this time around, and Onovin's going to be able to now get right back over to the Hulk. But look at this. They still cannot flip this point with the positioning of Madara now being on the Doctor Strange and Impunity living for as long as he has. And now Velocity has the fate of both worlds to keep this fight going.
Yeah, just once again, the Cosmic Revival over and over. It's just something to fear with these teams, though. Love the resilience as Madara is pushing forward. Oh my, colors just exploding the screen. Graphics cards are melting. The Agamotto is sending, and with it, no connection, and nothing from it is brutal. This team has continued to look more put together than in seeding, but right now it's 77% over to the side of Darkzero, looking like the unstoppable team that has snowballed an avalanche to this point. Forkydog falls, and it is all Darkzero at the moment.
Impunity jumping right on top of that backline while he was getting just pushed and pulled. Bedtime Story then follows onto Velocity. No strategist left for the sustain, but Darkzero minus Smash here alone. And with 95 and climbing, they finally flip a point with a fight that lasted forever.
Wow, and they played it well, but yeah, I mean, what a strong defensive hold there from Darkzero in terms of the sustain. Great job now as Bedtime Stories knows they have to play aggressive and perfect at that. Gilbert Noodle is going to have to hang on to this thing as long as possible. And they just have to try to win here in the neutral, Vic, if you're going to try to get this to 99. Can't use it all in one go. Damage shields out to rotate. Good positioning. Bedtime Story does have the whale. We'll see if he can find the opening.
With the win condition being that Karmic Revival and Bedtime Story getting frozen at the hands of Velocity, Rymazing moves up. He's got the whale available. They're trying to set up with the squids here too in the middle console of Celestial Husk, but they have to pinpoint where Gilbert Noodle is. With Rymazing having that whale that could come crashing down in the middle of it, Gale is going to open up the fight first with the Extermination. Impunity getting called out as Guru gets the roundhouse kick. He gets the choke slam while he's at it. 3 members out, making for Darkzero with Impunity getting the reset. This allows Rad to win that next team fight, but look at what Darkzero is about to roll out with.
Okay, all right. Guru, Diamond form, more like final form. I see it. He's going to have to bring more of it if he's going to continue to win this fight. And charging. Yeah, 64% going over to the side of Rad, but right now I'm looking worried for what Darkzero has with Kurova and Velocity. Just so much pressure. They're going to have to play perfect here. Forky Dog right behind it. Gilbert's got to find positioning to help the team, but also be available for the rest. Passive is surely ready. And there's the blessing. That's a good pop early.
Definitely be able to start off this fight here too strongly, as they're going to be able to move right back around. Rad holding on to these ultimates even better, even with this Extermination that's trying to get more space for the benefit of Darkzero. Psionic Seduction from Guru now is going to try to bring everybody together. It does catch Rymazing in the process. No whale coming down, but as he overextends here, Madara finds Guru born again, brings him right back around. Overtime ticking away, but in favor of Rad, who had flipped this point from 0 originally, and the squids have been set up here too. Extermination to keep them alive here from Rad, and now you have the dance up from Velocity and the fate of both worlds. And even with the Sonic Seduction, Kurova cannot stay alive. Here comes the whale crashing down, but it only finds Guru.
I mean, just teamwork straight out of the playbook. You cannot script this type of comeback now as Bedtime Stories looks to get close to elimination. There's Rymazing looking for the back flank. Bedtime Stories rotating the soul bond, keeping the team nice and healthy. Got to get rid of those squids, but trying to share the love. Does get one out, continues to push forward. Gale gets one. Rymazing the trades. Forky Dog down with Guru. Gilbert to follow. This is bad. They need to rotate. Guru already on the Strange. Portal's going to be out any moment, but this is going to be a tough momentum to fight against.
That was off of the neutral, and the straight up Extermination that Smash built up again with another Ultron Rage. No one to touch the point as Darkzero win the first game.
Wow. Wow. I mean, picking up a lot where we left off. Darkzero just continues to clock back in like the shift never ended. Just good job from them. And Rad, I will say Rad looks cleaner, at least right now, Vic, than they did in the seeding against these, top teams.
Yeah, Rad right now, it looks like they've been making a lot of adjustments. They're trying to find that flexibility, but Darkzero, the way that they end up moving back to then re-engage in a lot of these fights, even when it looks lost, the potential to stall from Impunity as he's your MVP. 5 final hits, damage block 41k, almost close to that of Guru, who we saw popping off earlier too, but the survivability is also there if you look at Kurova and Velocity.
I just felt like personally the Ultron wasn't doing much in that matchup too in the terms of Rad. I mean, it was starting to click a little bit towards the end, but if I'm Rad, I would look to try to get a little bit of a change there. I mean, that does speak a little bit to pick band stage and the way they want to rotate, but that could be also with this subbing. Gilbert is on Adam instead of what was in the past Gale, so maybe they're looking to do something a bit different there, and the subbing could come in, but we'll have to see. But either way, they did look clean, they did look better, but all Darkzero right now, and just consistently knowing what to do in every single, moment of this match.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at the difference between Gale and Smash too, sure, it could be that 1k healing, but we did see Smash having a lot more advantage off of that Ultron Rage versus the uptime that we saw from Gale. Sure, you could try to clear up some space, and depending on the situation, you could bring your supports back to life here, but then Gilbert Noodle hanging out in the back also ended up getting maybe like one impactful res, which at the very end was Guru, but it was all the Impunity show. That whole difference made a big deal here for Darkzero. 14 KOs, as we've already highlighted before, and only going down 3 times.
It did. I mean, this guy is just a demon in the back line, and we continue to see that from whatever team he's on to whatever day it is. Impunity with that MVP 14-3. Man can truly do it all. It's fun to watch him as a player, and this team put together Darkzero, all these studs, and it continues to shine. Vicky, what a match one between both of them. And right now, I think domination can speak one side of the story. Rad, you can really now cook up. You have best of 5. You can try to get things adjusted. Don't know how much there is there with that team in terms of adjustments. I know Darkzero, though, they'll be ready to answer the call as Rad will be picking our next map.
And even giving them highlight too, looking at how Rad had played Bedtime Story had only gone down once. And we know that Bedtime Story has a very flexible pool between the Star-Lord and the Phoenix. The Moore was great too, but then you mix that together and the Vanguard lineup that you're dealing with from the other side, Madara being also a really strong Emma Frost. That's why they usually protect the Emma.
Yeah, and I would actually give, if you look back at the pick ban phase, do you think there's much they need to change there? Because I felt like in terms of Darkzero, I'm sure they're happy with kind of what they got out of there. And heck, they gave them some stuff too, and now they're probably going to roll with that because they felt comfortable in it. If you're Rad, is there anything you look to change up? Because you got rid of the Jeff, you got rid of the Adam, but that's a problem. If you put the focus there, it opens up other lanes.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that they were able to prioritize Kurova on just 2 bans alone, maybe looking to see Smash being as impactful as he is being on that Ultron here. And depending on what map we may be going to, you have to consider the verticality that the Ultron provides, especially when combine that together with a Torch.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we just saw the first matchup between Darkzero and Rad. We're going to relock, reload. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break.
Smoke screen! I'm hunkering down. Judge! Jury! Executioner!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here for match number 2 between these two teams, trying to punch their ticket to LAN and see Atlanta. And we are here once again. We've said it before. Araco now is going to be the location. We continue to say Atlanta's the destination. Vicky, Araco, interesting choice here for Rad.
Yeah, they're 0-2 currently on Araco, but they are 2-2 on Convoy. So, you know, just interesting to see that this is where they want to go, considering that Yggdrasil Path, you know, Spider Islands has where they found the success. But we also see a change up here, Cozy. Pizza Demon is back, maybe having some issues himself, maybe, you know, an unfortunate day when it comes to starting off your playoff story. But having Pizza Demon back now opens up what we were mentioning before when we were highlighting this roster.
Yeah, dang you internet providers over there just keeping, you know, these players out of it. But yeah, good that they can get him back so fast and, you know, not a better time than now, because it does. We saw now on both teams it can affect the comps, not only just having the sub in, but just how they play and what they are comfortable on. And so we'll see if that goes in favor of them. I thought they would maybe pick Central Park. Typically, that's a map that they shine pretty well on. They clutched to get into this thing on that map. They've had great, you know, rounds in the Ignite on it. So instead, we find ourselves over on Araco. Some of the best music still in the game, I've got to say, in general, as it's just, I mean, all the music here is good. But yeah, looking at these two matching up here, I like what I saw from Rad. We got to see if they continue this kind of difference in this game mode. This is a good Angela map, though, at times. Yeah. So is the temptation going to be there, Vicky?
Yes, it will be. I'm 100% expecting 100%. The Angela to come out, right? Like, you already know, especially when you get those environmental KOs off to the side, right when you get through that first choke around the next corner. So we're going to see if that's going to work out. But will it work against a team like Darkzero the way that they were able to re-engage and install for as long as they had? As we open up the floor already, no Jeff, no Emma.
Already pick and ban phase. Right off the rip. Yeah, no, we said this is an Angela map. Jeff is a demon on this thing. Oh my gosh. Probably one of the best. Just getting good value just about at any point of the map. Mantis going to be saved for Darkzero, so they know what they want. This got to be an Ultron ban then, I would think, with how they play, but they go strange.
Oh, banking on the portal place to re-engage. I mean, again, usually pretty strong on Convoy and Convergence, we've noted before, as they protect the Atom themselves. But now they have 2 bans left. You got either the Atom ban or the Ultron ban is what I'm expecting. And in Darkzero, in this case, they ban out the Mantis. So they can't utilize that if you're looking at Rad and having that damage boost with either the Angela or even an Ultron themselves.
All right, we take a look here at the save, going to it. Like the Atom save, Gale going to go back over to the Warlock. That's the difference when Pizza Demon is not subbed out. So they already look back to the comfortability that they had. And this is probably going to be a little bit of what we saw Rad play previously. The next save, how do they want to go about this? They're going to go Invis. Okay, so they're going to end up giving Orky Dog that Invis that they typically love to play. No Jeff ban, though, is... This save is going to go to Jeff, right? Oh my gosh, they target banned Angela.
It's like the second or third time I think we saw the target ban on the Angela. Sorry, Guru, can't have your fun, unfortunately. But hey, you still got the push and pull that you have from Invisible Woman that can make some plays. As the protection on the Groot is smart, right? Because if you look at the ban lineup, just looking at Rad alone, they've target banned 3 of the Vanguards in a map where we always see the 3-3 come out from the defense side.
Dude, they have Ultron and Jeff, though. I mean, that is wild. That's gonna be a tough lineup to go up against here. But yeah, no, I do like the Groot save. I think that was the right way to go about it. Impunity in the Demon right now towards that back line, locking in the Venom. We're gonna get the symbiote show here, but one team's gonna have that Mantis.
They need something right there when they were trying to run the triple Vanguard here, and they're trying to lead into this defense. We're moving on to our second map, Araco, once again, as I jam out to the music real quick in the preview. Onto Convoy, which we've already mentioned, you know, Rad already 2-2, I believe, right there on that game mode, but now moving up against Darkzero, who has found a lot more success, actually. Rather 3-2 here, but they have been able to play it out on Midtown before, a year or so before, too, where they actually lost out on that before. So you have to do your homework if you're Rad. They've had the success on Universal, but don't go here instead. Meanwhile, Darkzero have not even played on Araco.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great points there put together. We always look at different teams and how they choose to approach this offense approach. I mean, for sure, Rad, I don't think they had it written down on the game plan. Angela banned out. You know, I think they're definitely having to change the way they look at this defensive approach, and we'll see if Darkzero can get them off shaky. Karova, look for the baby shark with the big bite to continue to get success. He's been just absolutely perfect in this tournament so far.
That time Sora taking up on the high ground, trying to divert their attention to Smash, who is back at home on the Star-Lord, by the way, Cozy. Smash already trying to dismantle this backline as everybody is grouped up together. Madara being on the Groot. A nice little look here, considering that the Vanguard lineup here looking on the other side was target banned over onto Darkzero. And now as he moves all the way up, Amazing's also going to be able to take control over this high ground.
Just a predator by nature. Karova with another pick. Man doesn't miss snack time as they push in very quickly here. Darkzero making this look like light work. Forky Dog gonna be the first to answer the call for the ultimate, but Gale going down, forced to get that passive up. What a huge pick early there from Rad Amazing in use of the high ground. Oh boy.
The invisible boundary, but oh no, the invisible boundary is used short of wherever Pizza Demon and Gale were positioned in that back line. What a free KO for Darkzero to run with this. Rad Amazing kicking his feet in excitement as now Rad are falling like flies, and Gale, even with that ultimate, now is forced to come back around.
What a crash down to the Phoenix, igniting this team's will in this tournament and continues to push forward with ease. Point 1 is capped. And that could not have gone better. Again, I think Rad had a game plan, Vicky, and that game plan got banned out.
Like, all right, if we make sure that the Vanguards aren't a problem, well, guess what? Impunity, also an insane Venom. If that Hulk didn't buy it for you, well, guess what? He's been able to get these beautiful follow-ups and then getting blocked out by these Madara group walls. Now, looking at the ultimate economy, too. Smash has that legendary Impunity, Feast of the Abyss, while Rad Amazing still gets away with dealing so much of his damage impact through these lanes.
All right, now Rad Amazing continue to push in with the fire. No. There goes the Venom and the Magneto up together. Impunity once again. He's feeding in the lobbies above. This could be Forky Dog bringing back with the res.
Wonder here. Don't put me back in there. The BRB sometimes you could try to go in for the reposition, but blood in the water as Darkzero have not been stopped once so far.
Yeah, Gale's gonna have to make the most of this and truly make an impact with the Kraken impact. He can follow with Pizza Demon. This is going to be the play right here. This is the defensive effort you need if you want to advance in the upper bracket. Smash, spinning the win, knows exactly who to call against now as Guru has the seduction up. No connection with it. Good positioning there from Darkzero, rotating around. Another ult coming from Ryan Mazing 2 last time. We'll see if he can up the ante now as the group walls go up, but fire beats grass, as we all know. Slicing and dicing his Gilbert Noodle, Vicky, as they continue to push in. Guru's out of this.
And we see the swap ups, but now with Darkzero having all these ultimates, these counter picks mean absolutely nothing. Madara grouping everyone together. Don't you want to give your local group a hug here? Maybe not if you're facing up Madara on the other side. You can ban the Emma Frost, but that does not stop Madara.
They blinked and Groot said, and I am Groot, honestly.
I am Groot.
This is absolutely, yeah. Great job from him. And Darkzero just looks unstoppable at the moment. Exactly where they've left off. I'm telling you, each loss makes them stronger, Vicky. And they lost the grand finals, and they're like, all right, we're going to just amp it up. We got our buff ready to go as Guru now rotating, trying to go against now the good old backline of the team. There's the Feast of the Abyss once again, but Smash gonna get the best of bedtime. Gale gets impunity out of here. That opens up something for the team.
Now Korova is gonna be able to taxi along the Invisible Man, the Bucky, have some fun with Madara, having way too much fun on this group. You're about to remember why these Mantises have been getting banned constantly. The damage boost just allows these teams to hold forward and deal so much of this damage out and impact. Now they get to also have the speed boost as Smash is going to bring everybody into the position, but with Pizza Demon having that invisible boundary, it actually stalls them out just enough to reset.
Every team fight needs a villain, and this time it's Jeff. I mean, Shark Week always hears Velocity, Raimasi clash on more of them. It is just feasting right now as they continue to make this look easy. Rad has to put something together here if they're going to stop the absolute relentless effort of this team that looks destined to make it as a new team. A lot of these players making it to land before putting it together for yet another successful season. Darkzero looking unstoppable. The show is going to keep things at least sustained. It's going to be the whale out. Bedtime Story gets 2, drops the ocean, waves him out. Good. Wow, that's a good response there, Vic.
Yeah, literally a typhoon jumping over their heads, and they needed to stop them, right? Literally, they have plus 3 minutes on the clock, so Forky Dog was forced to pop the fate of both worlds just to go in for the recontention. Following up with Bedtime Story, yes. Now, Velocity does have that God of Mischief to equalize things, and Korova is the embodiment of Adam, and we see it now in play.
There's a good swing and a surge with it now as Velocity throws the undefeatable up. Continues to put now continued pressure, but the seduction is doing a good job getting them away from the team. Madara wants it though. It's Mother versus Tree. Who's going to get the best of it? And there it goes. Mother typically knows best as Arm and Dangerous gets Korova from this thing. Huge hit there to slow down yet another wipe from Darkzero, Vicky. I mean, they took 4 minutes down to 2 minutes. That's already a win in itself, but they got to finish it out.
Exactly here. They have to also look behind them, make sure nobody is going to be cheeky enough to move in the back because Impunity has now swapped over to that Captain America. And together with Madara having been isolated by Guru after pulling out that diamond and turning into that diamond form is a lot of damage impact, but splitting more of this attention as the rest of Darkzero try to approach from the high ground. No, the grapple in and then the follow-up.
Huge choke there from Guru. The more hard he plays, the harder he chews his gum. It's cracking me up. Love to see it now. Another whale ready. Don't know if they're expected to see this, as born again, win again is what Korova is saying to the team. They're brought back. We'll see if this connection happens. It's Impunity leading the charge as a lead Avenger. He's diving the back line there, putting Demon in his place. And Mantis, good speed at use there, trying to get back to the team. Invisible boundary up, Vicky, and continues to put the pressure on. Right, Mason can land another Phoenix. Madara is close. Madara's been okay. Good imprisonment there from the tree, and they continue to throw it down, but this is a perfect job from Rad sustaining through it.
Yeah, they saved those ultimates specifically to deal with that group hug, and it is Forky Dog once again with a fate of both worlds, getting it just as quick as now they have to be able to dive, but you have to look at the point. You have to make sure you get to recontest here as Guru is still on this point, and Bedtime Story has set up here with these squids, forcing Darkzero back. They'll be able to recontest with Velocity and that God of Mischief, but now they have less than a minute on the clock.
What a freaking hold right here, though. 4 minutes down to 50 seconds, Rad. You know what's at stake here. Korova over to the Golden God. 62% in climbing. Velocity does have an ult for some sustain. Guru, Bedtime Story right behind it, though. This is a big whale. Bring the ocean. We'll see if Darkzero brought the boat. Here we go. Velocity gonna power up here. Ult's coming. There comes the drop. Kurova's the prey, but he does survive. Seduction to follow. Forky Dog gets impunity though, Vicky.
With the sounding of the 7 trumpet, though, you could see with Velocity getting that copy, going to be able to bring everybody up with the Mantis here together with the Soul Resurgence as Rymazing gets stunned temporarily. Madara gets taken out. Less than 15 seconds now on the clock, and Guru is boosting up that damage of the Emma Frost. Everybody funneled in the side, but the win condition is going to be wherever Kurova is as he uses that Karmic Revival.
That's a good point here. Absolutely. You cannot rotate, though, away from the ocean. And Bedtime Stories right now has continued to put this team on his back. The charge ups are ready. They found him. Gale knows his target. He's looking for him. And Kurova, good rotation as always, showing why he is who he is on this strategist with that important res. Rad has plenty of sustain, though. Already to overtime. Want to win, but there are no moral victories in this game as Gale now looks for the tree. Goodbye, he says to Madara. There it is. Kurova bringing them right back into this fight. Forky Dog's got the show ready. The whale coming, Vicky, and Gilbert Noodle close behind.
And with Rymazing being on the Punisher, the final judgment comes out. Harmed and dangerous, looking for the reset, and he tries to get it. But with Rymazing and impunity, it's too much damage output. Darkzero had everything, and the sustain was already used as Rad Esports can't stay to contest.
Wow. Wow. First of all, huge props to Rad. You just made this thing winnable at least, or possible, right? After a 4-minute shutdown. Darkzero, way to not at all falter. Kurova there. I mean, that quick pick that Gale could have gotten would have changed it, but instead it went to the tree. They were all brought back, and just like that, it's Rymazing doing what he does best. He's such a good cleanup man. The finisher himself, the Punisher, Rymazing.
Early clean up on aisle 3. He's so good at also following up. I mean, that's what happens too when you have synergy. Following from Kurova being safe, the rest of Darkzero had protected Kurova. Like, get down, Mr. President, making sure he not only stays alive, but they prevent anybody from trying to counter-rotate up on the high ground from Rad's side of that point. Moving on, though, to the defensive side, while Rad wanted to focus on getting these Vanguard bans onto Darkzero, that's how they were able to at least look at what they were going to be able to approach with on the attack. That's how around now looking on the other side, we flipped the script, and now Rad coming out on the attack.
Yeah, stats don't look pretty there for Rad, nor should they after what was a tough defensive effort, but able to at least turn things around. Bedtime Stories really impressing me right now with the picks he's able to get. Moving forward, Smash with only one elimination is criminal. I'm telling you, between him and Rymazing, just such a good, deadly duo. The battle starts. The team comp has been different. The ban and picks have changed things up for Rad. Let's see how they go offense-wise. But we're going to take a quick little look around the city of Araco, because why not? It's so beautiful. It's October. The weather's beautiful there over in this part of the Marvel Universe, Vicky, as we pause this thing.
Hey, Krakoa is trying to get to the finish line, all right? We got to start growing up more of these trees out here. Sometimes it can grief you at the very end here every time you get to a checkpoint and he grows even more plants. But yeah, we take a little trip here to one of my favorite maps in the game, and just breaking down what we saw at the very end too, Cozy. We saw some swaps because Kurovo was originally on that Jeff. We saw some playmaking abilities, but once you get to that third checkpoint, even better to have the Atom, especially if it's not banned against the rest of your team.
Oh, that's a good point. I actually think they handled the Shard pretty well for the most part. They actually handled both oppositions. There was only really that first start where Phoenix was also getting the best and the picks were happening with it. Good rotations overall. I think Guru has played very well. And just the difference it makes, I mean, coming right off the bench, Pizza Demon has done great healing, just keeping this team in it. Not easy with so much at stake here. I mean, these teams want it so bad. Again, I'll remind you guys, I'm on the stage in China with Guru. He's there as a guest, not a player. He's looking around saying, man, I got to make it back here. I know what it means for Team Rad to try to punch their ticket to land. But right now, opposition, it's Darkzero. They're looking unstoppable.
I'm so excited, Cozy, because there is no other energy than attending a LAN and seeing that shine through a crowd, seeing how the players approach their nerves, sitting on that big stage. And that is what both of these teams right now are playing for in the playoffs. They need to look at what they have to do differently after a pretty rough game in that game number 1 versus Rad. But as you mentioned, if there's any team that could do it, it could be Rad right now.
No, for sure. I mean, they just showed it right then and there. I mean, it was not looking great for them as, again, We continue to tour around and take a stroll through Morocco and what Rad will need to do and the points they'll need to hold. Again, they picked this map, right? They felt confident with it, and the first bit wasn't showing that all too much, but was able to pull something together. And they were down, I think, 5 on the last corner, too. I'm shocked they were able to turn that thing around as quick as they did. But yeah, it is going to be a tough, different look as on offense. They don't have what they typically want to try to pull out with the tricks in their sleeve. So I'm actually very curious to see what Rad and the path they go. Moon Knight I think is going to come out for bedtime stories with the tree. I would expect that, but I'm not sure what else.
Maybe the Wolverine out here too. We've seen it sometimes, especially like with the Angela being banned, as we could expect. One thing that was surprising for me specifically, we're usually seeing Impunity being on the group, but with Madara not having the Doctor Strange and Emma, having that group come out really helped them out here. Because I was wondering, with the focus on the Vanguard ban lineup for Darkzero, they still were able to make it work so well. Impunity having that Venom coming in clutch together with the Mantis damage boost, having to break through this choke next, though, as they're going to be the ones on the defense. You have to imagine the survivability that we've also been seeing with Smash only going down once, as he was not only on the Star-Lord, but being able to pop off on that Ultron.
Yeah, there's only a couple times that ults didn't line up there. The group play has been phenomenal, just from start to finish. So good, in fact, that, we're just taking a moment for everybody to reset. I know you guys don't know this map enough, so we want to remind you of all the corridors you can take and all the different options. This map can get crazy. That one point of the map where there's no exit and it's just like a 1v1 duel. I don't know if you've ever found yourself inside there, Vicky, but it could be chaos, man, and just the peak. I don't think we've had that on the esports stage, but, maybe one day.
Well, one of my favorite rotation points, too, is when you break the wall that is right next to the first portal, when you get through the first choke in that corner where you see a lot of environmental KOs, and then you break through it, and then you could actually take a nice roundabout spot to try to counter the strategists that usually like to hug that one pillar that you saw right there next to the health pack. It's another creative way of trying to dismantle the back line. You can see if a lot of these teams end up being unorganized, just trying to help peel for the strategists, too, which is another set of attention that I feel like Darkzero has really applied, because when you have your strategists that have so much mobility, you have the survivability you take to the skies as well, you have the flexibility of not having to put too much attention to the backline getting harassed.
No, that's a great point. And they continue to, when we look at the past and what they've rolled out before, what, kind of interests me, I looked at all the Rad games and how they play teams that are a bit more new put together and ones that aren't. And, even coming from Guru, I went to his stream and, he told, everybody, he was like, we just aren't used to playing a team that is so in line with comms and ready for all the, shenanigans that we're ready to pull against them. And so they've cleaned that up here pretty well. Coming out the gate, though, I might just go to good old classic Rad, right? As we now enter in, guys, thank you for your patience as we continue this thing. 3 minutes, 54 seconds, Rad on offense. And here we go, looking towards it. No Moon Knight, instead going to be Gale there on the Bucky. Bedtime back on the Namor. He's playing so great, why not?
I was excited, sitting on the edge of my seat right now, Cozy. It's like, when are we going to start out here? And here we go. Darkzero roll out on the defense with Corova indeed on that Adam Warlock. Not surprised here, too, as the Kidnap as well as the Wolverine was the other thing that we were expecting from Gale. You could ban out the Angela, but you can't ban them all here. Instead, with Gale this time taking the mantle over on that Wolverine.
And Corova with a quick little cheeky smile there. There's the break buff going to Rad there with a good opening. That's what I wanted to see from them. Again, playing something a bit different than what we expected. Bedtime Story continues to build that up. 72% in climbing for Noodle. Forky Dog close behind. Right now, Darkzero a mile away from Much. Amazing close. Smash to join as they clash for the end of point 1.
Noodle being on that mag 2 that we've been seeing time and time again, especially when it comes to playing here on Araco. But you have to think about Madara and those group walls here as Amazing sets everybody up being on the Mantis this time around. It's going to be met with the Invisible Boundary. This actually wastes not only the time of that Mantis Soul Resurgence, but also allows him to clear that next corner. I agree as he tries to use it. He gets interrupted, though, at the claws of the Wolverine as he gets shut down. And Gilbert Noodle misses out on the Meteor in that side corridor.
Yeah, that was looking like it was going to connect perfectly as Pizza Demon comes out with the show, and with comes the ocean. Did they bring the boat? Nope, they left the shore now as velocity goes down, but Born Again, just like the servers of this matchup, Corova brings his team back into the fight. Vicky, Seduction going from Guru, but Medora to match. It's everybody now together. Look at this beautiful job, but it's not enough. Velocity! with the quick copy from Loki to Bucky. Are you kidding me?
I'm just thinking about, imagine the nightmare fuel if you were Rad and there is no way to get out because Madara has put up the group walls blocking your only exit, and then the only thing separating you and freedom is a Bucky ultimate match.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I got eyes on Smash. Wait, no, there's another Bucky. Hold on, it's Velocity. We don't see often offensive ults. We saw one Groot ult from, Aramori, I think, last in June. There's another one there from Loki. Love to see things get swapped up. Velocity gets Gale out of this thing. And now what was a fiery open from Rad is getting slowed down a bit here. Forky Dog gets Kurova off the map. Try flying back from that one. Golden God, no mobility for him as they reset a bit. Smash Amazing. Now going backwards. If you're Rad, you got to push aggressive here.
Yeah, no stall here. Instead, a stall with Kurova and building up that Adam Warlock ultimate as he makes his way back from the spawn room gates. And Rad have everything to answer with. I am Groot as Madara wants to bring them all together, but gets interrupted another time around as a safety comes out, the invisible boundary to follow. And Amazing with the Soul Resurgence tries to push through this invisible boundary, but you have to think about the adamantium claws that Gale has brought in as they're the ones on the attack this time around. Velocity gets the copy, and he copies Kurova while he's at it to get the Adam Warlock Resurrection.
These copies have come in so clutch, Vicky. From the Kraken impact now to the res. You could not do it better, but Gale is slicing. He's dicing. He's hunting. He is Wolverine, and there it is. If it's not Velocity, it's Kurova. Are you kidding me now? Count it, 18 different lives. Forget the cats. There's 18 of them now, but it continues to be answered by Rad. Slicing one by one, but Gale does fall down. Point one is capped, though. Gotta say, my gosh, what a performance there from Rad. Surviving quite literally 20 of them.
And it was a good timing, too, because they were able to stay on the point while Darkzero were backing away to help lean into that resurrection as the win condition. So now all they can do is try to hold them here as the wombo combo between the Groot ultimate, strangling prison, as well as the reset. But the reset doesn't come out, and the Meteor M comes crashing down, but doesn't find its mark.
Little trickery magic survives the Meteor from Magneto there. Slammed down into the Loki. Velocity doing work there continually on the hero. Guru does get the pick on Captain. That's going to allow this team to push forward here. Bedtime wants to ignite more. Gilbert with another. This is a tricky point two to win, Vicky. Right now, they are definitely feasting. They continue to push in. Great seduction. Gale follows up. Right, amazing. The only thing keeping this sustained a bit for him. But this is a holdup right now. They're still holding. Darkzero still doing a good job holding it. As
the copy.
Back.
Yep, the copy once again got a mischief in the form of the Adam Warlock. Gets to bring Madara right back around while Forky Dog does the final blow in that push out onto Impunity, but it's all for naught. While Velocity still has that Karmic Revival activated. Rad try to close in the gap, and with Gale having that final judgment here, as well as Bedtime Story with a reset, they're looking for the opportunity to isolate Kurova, who is going to try to keep Darkzero in this fight.
Gale's got the Super Soaker water guns out now. He continues to mow him down, but it's Bedtime Story. You got a distraction on one side, but the other is going to happen now as Kurova brings back 3. What another res from this team. Time and time again. Rad has to just continue to play this perfect, and Bedtime Stories Ignite after Ignite is forced to push back. Here comes the Groodle, pushing everyone together. Gilbert's going to throw the massive tons on top of Amazing. Gets him right out of there with the follow-up on Impunity. Rad Esports, are you kidding me?
That was the one Meteor and point blank. This one surely won't miss. And it was great to land it on Amazing's head because he was so close to getting that Soul Resurgence as they get the second checkpoint. But Cozy, this is where things always get tough for a lot of our teams in getting to that third checkpoint, that finish line here, as Forky Dog is just going to be able to taxi along Krakoa.
Yeah, Darkzero, they had 4 minutes. Rad has 2. Doesn't matter, though. They just need a cap, and that is going to be, what is this? Sensational effort. Going for something here for this team. Velocity has that copy yet again. It's been 2 Adams, 1 Bucky. Who does he choose to go for now? As Amazing also has sustain. It's going to be Impunity out first. So I expect Velocity to think about the copy here on Adam. Good eyes on him production. Want to see who he's going to choose to use as Bedtime Stories continues to get the clones out. Vicky pushes in. They've got Guru that can combine with the Phoenix. Forky Dog to keep him up. Gale's not far behind, and they're making their way up the hill.
They're about to have so much damage output as long as Bedtime Story finds where Kurova is at to prevent that, or Velocity rather, here too with the copy, as Amazing brings everybody up with the Soul Resurgence. It's met once again with another invisible boundary that Forky Dog has had online so often, but it's the freedom charge from Impunity, the damage output from Bedtime Story up on the high ground being on the Phoenix, and Madara trying to block them out with these walls as Smash finds Gilbert Noodle next.
All right, full reset here. If you are Rad, don't rush this thing. You have a minute. It's going to go to overtime. Accept it at this point. Gale, if you are who you are mechanically and who we know this man is capable of being, team on the back. Frank Castle's the man to be with it. As the ult ready to charge, Bedtime Story can follow. They've got it. I mean, they have plenty in the tank. Pizza Demons can be able to lead the show, Vicky, and Forky Dog should rotate. Could be hard. 42 seconds, so Darkzero is fully loaded with potentially 2 res.
I'm able to dance it off with Pizza Dimming here, but with Darkzero having potentially 2 reses, if they cycle through this properly, Velocity may want to have that survivability, mostly being able to copy Forky Dog here, but the final judgment is the first thing to unleash, and this is just going to allow Darkzero to not waste up what they need. They're just going to be able to peel away, get out of the line of sight, and they're going to be able to now work into Korova and this Karmic Revival. Meteor M coming up. Where did that Karmic Revival go? We want to slam it down here or land it on Pizza Demon on the other side as he brings Velocity back, who can get the next set of copy onto another res if they need it, with Gale going down from Rad.
It's just continuous wipe to win every single time from this team as they continue to just put on a clinic of revival of zombies from Adam Warlock and team now. Impunity, Amazing, everybody getting a piece of the pie here. Gale trying to get this portal back, but even with it, there's only 1 left. They can body block. There's 2 now. Bedtime Story's going to the grouped up hero in Moon Knight. No one there. It is Darkzero getting the win after a great effort from Rad Esports.
Ooh, the way that they were able to deal with cycling through those ultimates, though, the copy at the end onto the Mantis damage boost for days. The damage output to Cozy was a lot, but Rad, even though they dwindled a lot of that time away from Darkzero, Darkzero not only had finished the map, but they hold them back.
Now, this is a good MVP here, too. Velocity earns every bit of it. This man was crazy there. 18 eliminations that you have to pull off on 1 point is crazy business as we take a look at the stats. I will say this. Rad is doing a great job here, bouncing back from the end of what that seeding bracket was. And I expect them, if they do get pushed down to the lower bracket, to make a good run because they are a team that's showing way more coordination going up against a very good Darkzero. You know, top 3 here in what I would say is the nation, or at least for America. So looking at it, I mean, the full team showed it. Mason continued to throw it in, but Korova just being that final boss that can't be beaten.
Yeah, we talked, by the way, about Forky Dog's damage output on Invisiwoman and the 60,000 healing to match onto that. I mean, being the SVP for Rad 2 and getting certain environmental KOs, finishing blows here, it was a lot. But then looking on the other side, you're dealing with Velocity that went 28 and 9, 12 final hits from Impunity, while Madara was putting down such great group walls to isolate the rest of the team.
Yeah, Madara did play great there as always, and Impunity, just the pressure they continually had there on the cap. I mean, again, they had to kind of adjust their game plan, and you could see it truly took them till point 3 to figure out the way they want to play it, as we see the Meteor landing on Amazing there. But again, it was the copy to Bucky to get the whole ace from Velocity. It was the 3rd 5, 7 born agains that I heard with the copies once again, and that is going to be our MVP in Loki and Velocity. So great job from Darkzero. They make it 2-0, Vicky. This would be, I mean, just a complete sweep, or it's going to be the bounce back of a lifetime. Either way, pure cinema.
You know what's scarier than just hearing one born again? Hearing it back to back with a copy. That's gonna be haunting me in my own nightmares here too. And honestly, looking at Velocity, well-deserved MVP. Also knowing the situational copies that you need on that God of Mischief. Madara with 91,000 damage blocked. You can try to target all the Vanguards if you want, but Madara still having that group available. Impunity covering whatever Madara doesn't, even better.
Yeah, I mean, and just the perfect rotation of ultimates from time and time again. Guys, this is great. This is such a blast. I mean, having this kind of talent up against it on the first leg of it all, I'm telling you, every one of these 8 teams could go the distance. Only 4 will push it, guys. We're about to find out one more that's going to be at least advancing in this upper bracket to face a very good team in FlyQuest. Don't go anywhere. We're going to find out after this break. right, guys, welcome back as the sun sets for Season 4, and we're going to Season 4.5 with Daredevil. Also, one of these teams in the upper bracket will be sunsetting their run. Rad right now is down 0-2, and if we look at across the board here, what can they fix? It's a tough question to answer, I gotta say, because they are doing, you know, what I think they're capable of doing. I think the pick ban was vastly won there, you know, from Darkzero, but right now you're down 0-2. Again, we like to say back against the wall. Vicky gives you plenty of support to come out swinging. They just have to go out there and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Gale right there, right too, right? It's pretty difficult to work around, especially if you find yourself just going down 15 times when the opposition was able to get so many resets, velocity on fire. Triple strategist could be very difficult to work around with, but it's even harder when you have velocity also being able to get the copy on a duelist. Currently, Darkzero are sitting at match point, and we are moving on to Symbiotic Surface.
Wow, the stage is set. Here we go. We find ourselves at Clintar, and it's going to be now Rad and Darkzero for match number 3. Can Darkzero punch their ticket to the upper bracket to face off FlyQuest, or will Rad have a story of a lifetime? Jeff Band coming out first. You're going to get the Pizza Demon shut down from that. Emma will be banned by the opposition, shutting down their side. Vicky, yeah, let's see. What's the first save here for your Darkzero? They've been rolling with a few options, and it's gonna go. Okay, they're gonna go back with the Mantis.
They've been, protecting the Mantis. The Groot was the only option they had because it was the Vanguard lineup that was target banned, considering that Darkzero will have to get the protection on the very last pick there too, since they're starting things off on the attack. But this is also a game type that we've been seeing, you know, just Convergence Darkzero dominate on. They're currently 4-1 here, but neither of these teams have played on Symbiotic Surface, which I do think is interesting with the Magneto ban coming out again. So it looks like Rad may be leaning into the Vanguard ban target.
Yeah, Impunity and Moderate can play just about anything, but I like the change of pace here. We'll see if they end up giving the Jeff to them if they want to go that route. It's going to be Mantis saved on their side. Bit of a different look here. They typically like to go Invis and Friends. That's probably going to be for Pizza Demon to continue on. Ultron being banned continues to limit their options. So we got like the Strategist ban on one side, Vanguard on the other.
And we know that Gale, who rocked out with the Wolverine originally when they came out on the attack, likes to go over onto the Ultron. And if we do see any Adams bans from either side, it's pretty smart, especially when you allow Korova to get away. With the Adam Warlock, it was just the Res Simulator, it sounded like. Just all karmic revivals all the way around. And it's something that Rad needs to keep into consideration as they get the Jeff ban next. And then now, as we follow up with the protection, no Final Judgment, no Punisher. Darkzero with a Punisher ban. Interesting.
No, yeah, trying to shut down Gale. This is exactly what I was going to say. Try to give Gale Punishers out. Try to give them Adam. They don't have the sub-in anymore. Now they can look to ban Adam. I would expect Darkzero's last save to be for that. Could be for the Invis as well. They've leaned that route. Emma going to be off the ban, and it's the Ultron instead. So they know they're comfortable with what they want to roll with there. Last ban, I guess, would be Adam. I mean, there's a couple routes you can go. Torch is not a bad idea. Right, Amazing can obviously set things off there. So I mean, I don't hate what Rad has put together here in the pick ban phase. Once again, though, they have limited options.
Yeah, because if anything, you're giving Darkzero still the capability of Velocity, who's been popping off thus far, to get a copy on another Atom. Amazing, who was also on the Mantis when they were rolling out in our previous map here too. Smash now could take to the skies. You look on the other side of Rad, though, they had no other choice because Gale doesn't have that Ultron. Sure, Wolverine is very situational there too, and we are moving on to Symbiotic Surface, so with no Punisher, you really only have the Atom to lean into if you are Rad.
All the dark maps here in spooky season. We're in October, and we continue to push in this thing now as we find ourselves at Clintar, home of Venom. Will we get a lot of Feasting of the Abyss combined with the Mantis? That has been the motto here in this meta. Keep in mind, this will be the last time we see this meta, and once we get to land, it'll be what is the server right now, as teams will look to lock in. Get ready there for Daredevil. Now pushing forward, we have the portal right away. It's in the eyes of Guru. On defense, they're going to look to counter portal here. Madara going to open up the team. Love this. We'll see if they can get the cheeky portal off.
You have to stop them from securing the mission.
He's gonna try to get us set up here. Try to block out the way to be able to get the double portal. We've seen this time and time again, Cozy. Guru setting it up to see if they can fall up the map, but nobody falls victim here yet, while the rest of Rad now are gonna have to completely capitalize off this point because Darkzero got away with the portal play.
Yeah, no multiversal mayhem today as Mater is comfortable on the points. Now Gilbert Noodle is going to be the Penny Parker. My gosh, what a surprise, but I love to see it here in the defensive effort now pushing forward. It's Smash. See if Smash can get the pick to open up this team and give him the offensive effort that he continues to do for Darkzero. Madara dangerously low. Keeping them up is going to be Kurova with a quick splash and opening. Smash now just building up that ult one by one on the sticks. The controller got himself. The demon is pushing it on the tree, back and rotating. Is going to be them now. Okay, not bad approach here from them.
I was gonna say, look at the Smash v Bedtime Story matchup here between the Star Lords. You are gonna be able to get that BRB to bring Bedtime Story right back and a good amount of damage onto Smash here too. But with the survivability that we're currently seeing, Velocity after that God of Mischief was able to set up Darkzero nicely. They can rotate through Amazing, who's about to have that Manta Soul Resurgence, and the Karmic Revival rings in their ears once again with Kurova bringing them right back around. Even with Forky Dog shutting down Amazing, he'll come right back. Eye of Agamotto only lands on Pizza Demon, but it staggers him as he was in the middle of the Soul Resurgence.
Yeah, Soul went right to hell. I mean, that was absolutely perfect. The only person they connected that with was the Mantis, and they got the clean finish Madara with a huge opening that was going to be constant sustain. Definitely want that back if you are a Pizza Demon. Smash now punching the air. He can feel the advancement. Ready to roll, Vicky. That was such a great offensive effort here. But not an awful defense there. We've seen some, quicker points taken in the past on Clint's. Our team looks to reset. We have the Angela. This is what I'm talking about. Just go out there and have a good time.
He loves it. He's played the Angela here too. As we get to see him try to dive all the way down. Talk about timing, bringing them all together. Is there a follow-up though? As a freedom charge from Impunity tries to keep them alive, but doesn't help out Kurova, who does have that passive. And Bedtime Story wrapping up right behind them to make a Darkzero sandwich. But the rest of his team is falling before his eyes as Gale needs to get this passive off to get this Karmic Revival.
It's one by one. They continue to fall. Darkzero completely on top and in command as they push forward. Gale does res back. He's going to born again this team, get everybody back in the action. One by one they fall, but they come back just like that. Team's got to lock in now, reposition from the high ground. See what they can pull together. Guru trying to find a prey from the spear, as you put it, the shish kebab, but no. Gale going down to smash. Guardian on Guardian violence.
And with the Loki Lanterns too to keep them alive on the point on top of it all, even with Gil having the Comfort Revival, it brings everybody back from Rad to recontest here. Gilbert had made that swap off the Penny earlier back onto the Venom, but this shows you the damage boost, right? Amazing when you get to get away with playing on the Manta. Same thing from Pizza Demon, who has that Soul Resurgence back around, but with the Comfort Revival, the copy from Velocity, he gets away with it again.
The double copies have just been absolutely lethal as the Feast of the Abyss comes in from Gilbert Noodle, trying to get something with the boost there of Pizza Demon now keeping the team alive, but nothing from it. Once again, Forky Dog now has to sustain, but it's not enough. Gilbert Noodle goes down. That's two strategist ults to try to stop Madara, but he is the master of magic right now as he continues to push in. Guru and Press just trying to rotate position out to smash his relentless legendary.
And now this forces Gilbert Noodle to swap over to the Doctor Strange. We've been seeing him rotate, whether it be on that Venom. He has the portal recontest right afterwards. And Darkzero have Kurova with another Karmic Revival. The fact that you let this pass through again after what we just witnessed in the last map is so hard to resustain from, because by the time they do, they'll get another round of ultimates here, Cozy, if you are Darkzero.
I mean, just completely locked in. And yeah, I mean, you said it. Kurova's ready to go with the res gate, and Velocity's going to be there to match, so they can go with double that if they need so. I mean, right now, comp's not working. Bedtime Story does have the legendary ready to go. Gale can match at least one of those reses. Heaven's falling shortly. We'll see how they combine Guru's ult here. We'll see what kind of angle he takes. He got the best of Smash last time, but Smash going full aggro like a final boss in MMO. Now Gilbert Noodle does get the first pick though on Impunity, forcing the rise from Kurova, believing Velocity can get it soon.
Bedtime Story then finds Madara, but there's that res, allowing everyone to come back, but that also is a green light for Darkzero to play a lot more aggressive as the Angela ult comes crashing down over their heads. They get combated. Guru gets punished by Velocity, born again, as it's Gale this time. time around from Rad, but they only got one set of Karmic Revival as the Eye of Agamotto finds 4. Pizza Demon
Madara
had already used up that Mantis ultimate. Madara, you can try to ban out these Vanguards, but it won't stop him, especially when he also has access over to that Doctor Strange.
What a disgusting Agamotto. Got the entire team with that one. Oh my gosh. Could have scripted better now as Impunity and Smash continue to just reign dominant. I didn't think we could see anything worse than the opening of Araco, but right now it's Darkzero fully in control. They're ready to get this thing moved on to the upper bracket. Guru now fighting back, finding what he can out of this thing and continuing to stall here. Good job with those axes. Gets that team up health. Gilbert now getting out smashed, but once again, you're going to have to put up the relentless effort of Impunity to Kurova and Velocity to follow of Sustain.
That Freedom Charger definitely helped them out here, but they're forced to back away this time around because they don't have those strategist ultimates to help keep them in this fight. So it's a lot more poke pressure in this neutral here. Nice stun onto Impunity and Madara, but the follow-up isn't there as Bedtime Story tries to deal good enough pressure and forcing them to back away.
All right, now Kurova ult ready. Bedtime Story knows it. He's looking for it now. Good rotate going up. It's right now just Star-Lord on Star-Lord. Both spinning, both low, both strategists keeping them in this thing. Pure confidence from both teams now. Born again is Kurova, bringing them back. Bedtime Story gets Madara out of there, but just like that, they are back once again. It is relentless from this team. Health up, Heaven Falls, jumping in, trying their best here. Guru slashing, slicing as Pizza Demon is going to be stunned. Gale has that res as well. Vicky, expect this to go long. They're doing it again, though. They're defending the end of this thing.
Yeah, Darkzero are going to have to just hard reset this. But Bedtime Story having the legendary, it's just clean up once again for Bedtime Story. And it's a team fight win to stop Darkzero. Now down to a minute, less than a minute on the clock, almost here in the next 5 seconds.
I continue just to be so impressed here with Rad being able to stop what looks like an unwinnable match in their terms. But Gilbert Noodle with the trio here is going to be the opener they need to clutch this. 49 seconds left. Velocity does have ult to res, most certainly. Outside of that, though, it's all neutral play. Smash will certainly have an impact at some point, but Rad can stop it before it starts with only 38 seconds.
He was able to get the swap off, though. He went over to the Bucky off the Star-Lord originally. Going to be able to take care of Bedtime Story up in the sky, as well as Guru, who's been able to fly around and get away with it. But the group walls from Gilbert Nudo. I am Gru, as it's met as Forky Dog's able to push in Impunity. Velocity gets the copy this time around, and it's the Born again, as Gilbert Nudo all for that, just for everybody to come right back around at the hands of Velocity.
Milliseconds too late there, unfortunately, as now Smash reigns in. Gilbert Noodle with the ult of a lifetime, but it won't matter. But Gale brings it back in this fight, but Smash can continue the avalanche of the impact. Legends in the sky. Bedtime Story looks to make his story of advancing in this upper bracket, but it starts here. 1 down, 2. We'll see if we can make it 3 now. Darkzero just keeps coming back and getting away with it. Kurova now close to ult, ready to bring the team back yet again. Gale a mile from his. This is madness.
Born again, wave 55 of zombies as he brings them back. And Rad, despite winning so many of these trades, they only have one Atom. They don't have a Loki to keep them in this fight. Another Gru ult this time around, but it's at the hands of Gilbert. They get their push back in, but it's straight neutral as overtime takes away.
You see zombies, but they're trading them pretty well here. And what Gilbert Noodle is looking for, another elimination, but won't be able to get a Smash. And Medora get 2. Smash gets another. And at this point, it's going to be Smash and tries to seal the deal. Gale brings it back 75%. He's out of it. Bedtime Story, only one left. That will be it for Rad's defense. Once again, bringing it down to 4 zeros. But Vicky, how are you supposed to beat 7,000 revives?
How long was that? They got like a Karmic Revival like at least 4 more times, it felt like, in that final fight. Like, even looking at Gale being able to have that Karmic Revival, he got it twice in that final fight, and then you're dealing with double that if you're looking at what Darkzero's running with Velocity having that God of Mischief to get the same copy. That fight must have lasted, Cozy, like a solid 2 to 3 minutes.
And Gilbert gets a whole wipe. You know, couldn't tell his facial expression. It's just showing his forehead. But either way, I mean, it's like, okay, you win. Nope. Kurova able to bring people back. And then right after that, just continues to fold. I mean, just so tough to lock in for that long. Bedtime Story gets a million eliminations. Not enough. 23-6 is his SVP effort at the moment. But Darkzero locked in once again, this team's got it. Rad has got to find a way to not, get everything cooking in the last 10 seconds. They got to try to bring back a better effort here offensively. And it looks like they're going to keep rocking with Angela, Vic.
And then if you're Smash, you just get the wombo combo from the group strangling prison into the reset. 16 final hits, bedtime story. Also having a pop-off game, but having to get more of these follow-ups as we see the other portal play coming out this time at the hands of Darkzero trying to catch Rad.
I mean, I would have just not banned the Magneto and instead banned the Atom. But, everything's said in hindsight. You can only do so much. This team will find ways to beat you there as Gilbert tries to avoid nearly going into a quick exit of the tree. We have the one-wing angel flying around, looking around, doing slight call-offs there. You can see Guru chewing gum, but muttering some words of positioning here is now Velocity trying to bring the fight to him. We interviewed Velocity and what this team can be. He believes they can go the distance, showing it right now as bedtime stories. Good rotation by both teams at the moment, Vic.
Watching Guru just stick over to this Angela, and I like this rotational approach that we're currently seeing from Rad Esports. Sephiroth would be proud here. Look at Guru now fly into that backline to get the follow-up with Bedtime Story, who's trying to harass the same backline, but you have to imagine with Velocity having those lamps ready to go, it'd be difficult. Something else that you have to be able to try to cave into with Forky Dog also just wrapping up on the other side of Darkzero, literally flipping the script in terms of positioning as he gets the shish kebab. He finds the isolation, but a beautiful sleep to shut him down.
Nice job here, offensive-wise. Now, bedtime. Oh, what a great quick swap there from the clone. Not tricked at all. It is bedtime story, but it's impunity shutting down any momentum from them. Oh, that's brutal.
I am Groot. That's all he said. Look how calm he is right there, too. That everybody was cycled into that room, and he just got away with it as Guru trying to place this portal right in the back line of Darkzero before trying to go up to this high ground. Maybe if he could cut off Velocity right here.
Now here comes that portal once again. Good reset. Pizza Demon and Gilbert. Gilbert's gotten a lot from his ult, but Bedtime Story opens up the fight with a huge pick to slow down. Mantis out of here. Going to be the rise coming from Gale. Karova's going to match him here shortly. There are like 4 Adam Warlocks right now on our screen. Bedtime Story's flips back. Look at the double charge up in sync. Absolute beauty. It's like he has the Echo team up there from Emma Frost. Smash, charged up, juiced up, has the Kraken impact. Continues to push forward here. Mater has been huge for this team so far. The Agamotto comes out. Doesn't get much. Impunity gets hit from it, but it's going to be Bedtime Story, Vicky. Smash out of it.
He's trying his best, even without an Eye of Agamotto landing from Guru, but now you have Korova. Velocity had used the God of Mischief to get the copy before this, and now to open things up, and it's Mara who finds Gale, who finds Gilbert. The slam down allows the reset as Smash comes coming down again. Gale has the passive, and he pops the Karma Revival.
It's just crazy. Every time they fall, they come down. They have like a character buff to build them up now, Smash. Yelling the words we've heard from 2 different characters again. Born again and again from Smash comes the Kraken impact looking for the Star-Lord. Good punch and finish and flush, but it's going to be Bedtime Stories rotating out of that. Point ticking up. Rad getting awfully close, forcing them to push an aggressive. Down goes Impunity. Nice shot there from Guru. Smash trying to keep this thing competitive. No, it's going to be Rad who should get this point, but Velocity brings it back, Vic.
Look at the point. They get it. They get it. Darkzero felt so much pressure. They couldn't give the backup that Impunity needed because of the damage output, and even through that res, they were able to take the point finally, and now they have 3 minutes, less than 15 seconds on the clock.
I mean, you got to wake up eventually from Groundhog Day, and it was the same old res after res, but they finally get that point cap. 3 minutes is plenty of time as well. They had a pretty good hold here on Darkzero, at least for the time being, but they're going to have to not let up any momentum. Bedtime Story's 94, just trying to get a little bit of poke damage to get this thing rolling. Rad does have plenty, Vic. Don't use it all here, but they've got exactly what they need, and they open up here with the Agamotto to get 3 from it. Holy! But the one they didn't get is once again Adam Warlock.
Yeah, it's also limits to the Velocity, but not for very long when Korova has that Karmic Revival to bring them back. Gilbert Noodle trying to make the plays as he finds the success, finding everybody off from Darkzero as it is a team wipe that Rad needed to clear the space.
Oh my gosh, finally deleting the file respawn EXE. Great job there from Rad as they push in the back point here. Portal coming out. Guru with the portal. Going to close and seal off the doors. I actually like this approach, right? With the time they need left. Finally gets it out there. Could be a little too late. They cut off the team, though. Who was left behind? We're unsure, though, as the undefeatable comes out. Other players have to rotate. Now Smash coming down with the arm and Dangerous again. Slams it down. Vicky so close, but nothing from it thus far. Bedtime Story now with the legendary impunity to match. Everybody gonna have to follow the freedom trail to stay alive.
Everyone had that invisible boundary to help them out from Rad, and with Bedtime Story still taking to the skies here, trying to put that harassment. Impunity had just used that freedom charge. Velocity, look at where Velocity and Kurova's positioning are specifically going to be, because that's going to be the win con, as the Karmic Revival is going to be what they want in this fight. But Impunity staying in, and Rad have everything as Gilbert Noodle brings them back again. He gets the copy, God of Mischief here, and it's going to be the freedom charge on the other side rather instead, which I'm not too sure. I don't think that's what they wanted. It was an unfortunate accident, as that Karmic Revival would have gone even harder.
Tree says no. What a Guardian of the Galaxy effort from Mantis to Star-Lord to the silent but deadly group. What a job. What a performance thus far. 2 minutes 32 seconds. They're gonna have to obviously go the distance. Can they have any time to spare? Gonna be tough with all the reses. Kurova at 90% velocity, far from it. But sure to rotate here. Vicky, I mean, just trying to get the pace in the back line. Wow, okay, that's huge on at least stalling the rotation of respawns, right? Because now velocity is going to be a mile behind Kurova, and they can at least get a little bit of budge.
May actually be forced to hold on to it for a bit just because of that, because they want to time those ultimates side by side with one another. But Bedtime Story, the MVP right now for Rad, has find these crucial picks off the back line. He finds Madara again, and here goes Kurova, born again, bringing them back as Guru unleashes a thick Eye of Agamotto. He finds 3, and Raimazing's right there to keep them in this fight with that Soul Resurgent here. Again, as Smash comes down, he finds Guru, and he gets the next reset. And Gale is there to bring them back.
Even with the triple Ago, not successful, but Gale brings them back in this fight, doing their best Darkzero impression, coming back into this thing. Bedtime does have that legendary. Gilbert can follow. Once again, got to stay up, can't stagger here. Here comes the ultimate. Do they connect? They get 2. Okay, now Rad looking for the comeback, and Smash puts a quick end to Bedtime Story, sending him goodnight as Gale gets a pick on Madara. Guru to follow Vicky.
Rad Esports, they have figured it out, it seems here, the way they look on this attack, but the job's not done just yet. You have less than a minute now coming up on the clock. They have Forky Dog in the invisible boundary. They have Bedtime Story, but look at this velocity close to that God of Mischief, as Impunity uses the freedom charge to allow everyone to get that support that they need to continuously push them back.
Pushing in now, Gilbert New throwing down the walls. Good sustain here. The legendary ready to go at any time for Bedtime Stories. Velocity, though, did rotate around finally. Other teams are far from it, though. And oh, wow, what a focus. No one there to keep him up. 40 down. Strategist was to have that one back. Gale getting close to around, but look at this rotation. They're forced to move back. 30 seconds. You can't get these picks and sustain. Darkzero knows it. They're pushing up. Guru, though, wants it. He's fighting. Pizza Demon opens up with the ultimate now to try to get something for it. It's a smash down, and they're cracking down now as the Eye of Agamotto goes out once again. Vicky, 1, 2. Can they make it 3 to push this thing? What a turnaround.
It stops the bread and butter between the follow-up between the Strangling Prison and the reset from Smash onto that Bucky that he swapped over to deal with Bedtime Story. But the Born again comes out from Kurova, and this time it comes out from Gale. Overtime now ticking down as he brings back Gru into this fight. Velocity 2 had just used up that God of Mischief, and now with the invisible boundary, the sustain is there for Rad.
Yeah, but here it is. Velocity once again going to be able to do what they do. Gilbert Noodle gets Madara, though. Overtime is ticking. This is it. Will Rad be pushed to lower bracket, or Darkzero win this thing and make it to the upper bracket semifinals now as Impunity continues to push on as the captain sustained. Bedtime Story good to rotate around in a moment. Smash down with the Kraken impact. Pizza Demon close as well, Vicky. This could go either way, but right now no one going down. Guru get the 1 and 2. The J duo as always now make it 3. Rad Esports gets it.
Score is 3, 2.
But the job's not over yet. But they shut down
Time to switch
that
things
Bucky
up.
right when he tried to pop the trigger on the Kraken impact. Good timing, but that was the best look we have seen from Rad all series long.
Yeah, just the confidence and the structure we have not seen from them now, at least against the teams to this measure. I mean, just so well done. Every fight, obviously, from here matters so much. No mistakes can be made. The ult charge up is going to be exactly tied, Vicky. I mean, did you go? Who do you got? You got Rad with the momentum? Is it Darkzero? Darkzero will start first on offense.
They have to reset their mindset because let's be honest, that one big copy mistake from Velocity not only stopped their ultimate rotations in the way that they wanted between the double Atom, but that copy over onto the Captain America could have allowed them to waste even more time away before they got that second checkpoint.
Man, both teams throwing haymakers. More resurrections than I can. I've lost track of how many lives have been lost and restored. As we take a look here, we got the portals coming out. The counter portal there in terms of Guru and what he can put together. Nothing has been successful thus far. I don't know. I almost would like the portal to be for the, you know, sustained effort on defense, but they're confident they can maybe get this.
Maybe this time around, they're not expecting it. Trying to see if they can try to isolate the backline real quick as Guru puts it up. Looks at them right through the window, and he finds a jump on Smash. Talk about the placement 2 on that group wall.
Holy timing. There was like a Kamehameha coming out of that thing. Holy Lord, they get one out. If it wasn't for the wall, it would have been done there. Huge save from Madara, if I'm being honest, and the continued pressure. Oh, man, what an aggressive approach. What a different look. The all-in mentality to try to make this thing 2-1 now. Velocity throwing down the clones, keeping up everybody. Ults are hard to come by in this part of the match, folks. 20 seconds. Everyone's pretty far from it, but getting close.
Amazing, though, being on that Punisher, the difference maker here, and just trying to clean up whatever is left of Rad once they know that that Karmic Rival comes out from Gale. Guru falling low, needs some of that sustain. Darkzero, though, they find their sustain. Impunity also going to be able to continuously harass that backline as Rad go for the reset, and the final judgment is met with the invisible boundary through the window through the soul, and he's trying to go in, but it's too much as Kurova was behind with the Karmic Revival to bring them right back.
How Kurova got the revival this fast is absolutely ridiculous. And now, just like that, the bounce back. You get the first wipe. That's usually enough. There's a tick on the clock left. But once again, coming back from the dead, it's all of Darkzero fighting with the vengeance they have. Porky Dog, though, does get a clutch pick there. Tick, tick, tick goes the point and the clock. They wish to have that portal back now. It's going to be the full reset. If you're looking at Darkzero, I mean, that's definitely the best in what you want from the team. Impunity flies back into it from the portal of his own. Smash with a quick stagger on Gale. Vicky, I mean, moments away. Kurova, how?
Look at the overtime, Gozi. It is literally a pixel away. They cannot get off this point. They have no room to breathe. They have the extra credit now while getting this payload moving. They're looking to walk the dog. Smash does have that soul resurgence. It can move all the way up, but they have to be tactful with the way that Bedtime Story has been isolating the strategist backline. Guru, I have Agamotto ready to go. Gale with another reset opportunity.
Kurova back to 62% and climbing here. Guru going to look for another huge Agamotto. Has continued to open the eye and find success now as the shields are up. He dives out, finds both strategists there in the back line. Going to go for more. Goes with the pop, the 1-2. Bedtime Stories to follow, putting them right to sleep. Good night. As far as this push approach goes for Darkzero. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Kurova at 92 trying to farm it up. You can't get away with it, sir. Not in overtime. Not another res. I mean, I would say great hold, Vic. They were so close to a dominant hold.
Still winnable. With the way that Rad took the attack when they were here, so winnable right now. That was the best case they could have in that moment because Kurova not having that res means everything. He was like at 82, 84%, I believe, before he saw his team just dropping like flies. But Bedtime Story has constantly found himself wrapping behind Darkzero and harassing them and getting away with it.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, that was played very well in terms of Rad. I mean, I got to go back and just see how Kurova went from like 50% to 100 in seconds there as we take a look.
Headshots.
yeah, seriously. I mean, at it, Smash with 27 final hits. What a demon. 45 damage. Can't complain. 65k from Porky Dog, too. Same as last time. Just look at what a stat show, man. What could be our final match. Insanity.
The 26 final hits, the 27 from, like, wow. And then you even look at how Gale's been performing on this Adam Warlock. Again, that's why they have to use the protection to make sure that they don't just target ban what Gale has. And Gale's almost evening out with what Kurova's impact has been, even with Velocity getting these copies onto the Adam Warlock. As we get started, Rad coming out of the gates.
All castles hold the biggest villain, and Vicky, I gotta say, Frank Castle there for Rye Amazing is one of the biggest when it comes to clutchness. He can hit every shot now as it's banned out for the other side. The turret blasting. Bedtime Story looking for a different entry, getting the pressure to at least turn focus, like the effort here, and the focus, giving his team some room to push in, and just constant pressure there from Star-Lord. Has been sniped out a couple times. Stretch just need to keep an eye on him. Up Main Street is Guru and friends as they continue to push up, but Rye Amazing 44 and 50% in climbing.
30 seconds.
Look at Kurova's ult economy here too, with Velocity shortly following up afterwards. Bedtime Story saying, look at me, as he flies onto the high ground once again, wrapping behind Darkzero, trying to harass the strategist backline, maybe even force out these lamps from Velocity, as he's also close to that God of Mischief. But with Forky Dog finding impunity, that's a first big pick, and there is no Karmic Revival to bring him back.
83%, 86 in climbing. They got to find that back into strategist. It's going to be the same song, same dance once again. They won't be able to carry the threat on. Gale's close behind, but it's Velocity first. Going to get the Born Again ready again for this team. Bedtime Story's unable to get him out. There it is. Powers are his. It's going to be Kurova as well to match it. They can go either way. Judge, Jury, Rye Amazing. The clutch gene is in them, and here comes the bullet. Everyone has a name. Rad Esports on them now with the imprisonment. Guru gets it. Oh my God.
Gilbert is hungry, but the Born Again brings everybody back. The reset, he tries to wall him off as currently Rad get this payload moving. They find the success, and overtime ticking away. They cannot get it off yet.
Gale has the res. This would be a win of a lifetime after what was a tough entry and opening. Now as Madar is looking for their strange on. Oh my gosh, he's found Gale. This would be a huge pick if he can shut it down. Gale goes to. Oh my goodness. I've lost. No! It's the res. It's not enough time. Goodbye, Red.
That went down to the wire. The armor to negate the eye of Akamaru stat. Can you imagine?
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. He found him. I mean, Gale tucked in a corner, Vicky. Just like that. Darkzero will be advancing to play FlyQuest to earn their ticket into Georgia. Valiant redemption effort from Rad, coming up a little short. Carry that momentum into the lower bracket. For now, it is a 3-0, a clean sweep from Darkzero.
Oh, what a performance from Rad, man. The way that they almost turned that around. That was probably the best symbiotic surface game we have ever seen. Madara being the MVP for this team. Highlighting, what, 70?
72 from Bedtime Stories.
Dude. 72 elims and he only went down 13. Bedtime Story was a whole problem. Like the way that Bedtime Story was spending so much of that attention. 72. That is insane.
He tried to get the last pick on Velocity there at the end and just was unable to seal it. But I mean, straight up, it was the strategy that won. You know, it's bronze versus brain sometimes. The bronze, I don't think, was successful this time around. I think really came down to the game plan that Darkzero had here. What an absolute clutch performance. Madara, by the way, played insane all three of these matchups. I gotta say, that was my biggest boost in a player in terms of who I was impressed with this time around. We know what to expect from the other guys. Madara, though, had clutch after clutch play.
Yeah, what is it? Like Madara, when Madara's not allowed to play Emma, which is like where Madara shines the best, in my opinion, here he comes, not only impressing me with the Groot, but the Doctor Strange plays. He had 105,000 damage blocked, whereas Gilbert Noodle, the Groot, who also, I feel like in this game, had the best game here within the series thus far, had blocked 115 times. Whereas the final hits for Smash, 28 final hits, and then here comes Bedtime Story with 72 elims and only 27 final hits.
I mean, I can tell you right now what FlyQuest is doing is they're looking at this and they're like, okay, well, Loki or Adam will not be making it together because it's just too much consistency over and over again. They banned the Magneto. Look to have that one back probably. I mean, I'm dead serious. If Rad would have banned Adam here, it would have not even been the same game, not even close. I mean, that was definitely the big difference maker as we take a look at our MVP. We know the SVP of Bedtime Stories, 70+ eliminations. This time over for the winning team. Rightfully so. It's Madara with 105,000 damage, 105 damage block, 50,000 damage to boot, 15 final hits. Holy stat line, holy win. That was insane.
I don't know what he ate for breakfast this morning, because in that previous game where he was grouped, because they literally got Vanguard target banned, Madara had like 91,000 damage blocked, and that was on Arako. So like Madara, throughout the course of this entire series, just continued to impress me. And I do agree with you there, Cozy. You said it a little earlier that instead of the Magneto ban, you would have liked to see the Adam ban. 100% on board with that. And that also comes to show you how the pick and ban phase, how that influences our games right before they start. And that was a composition that we literally just saw for game number 2.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know about you. I'm getting over Gale hiding in the corner and Madara sniffing that out so clean, and then successfully, easily just 1-2 pop, dead, move on. Agamotto clutch in the veins. Insanity. What a game. What a battle. Rad Esports is pushed down the lower bracket. Darkzero moving forward. Pure cinema.
This is how you start off the playoffs. That was just our 2 series, and this is how you start things off. These teams, how desperate they want it, how desperate they want to find themselves up on that stage in DreamHack Atlanta, and it's just been crazy to see it's played out already in our best of 5-2 series.
Well, we welcome in our interview one of the people responsible for the what seems like 10,000 different Adam Warlock ultimates. Velocity, who's counting over there? How many times did you res the team back with alongside Kurova? That was insanity.
Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. It was some of them were bad, but most of them were pretty good. So there was a lot of resing.
Bro, first I gotta say huge congrats to you and the team having this bounce back even from what we saw last week. And I have to say 2 things. A, that the Bucky copy on top of the Adam copy, cheeky, brilliant, insanity. How do you take a team of all these proven players and now put them together on this team and have this new identity that is this Darkzero?
I don't know. We kind of just like play whatever. Like we're in scrims and I'll call it team comp. Like there was this one time where we had Torch Ultron and like all these other characters, and Rise like, I'm gonna go magic like a mouse, and he just goes magic, and we just won like super hard. So there's moments like that where we kind of just like play what we think will be good. But for the most part, it's just me going like, hey, let's play this comp, and it works pretty well. So yeah.
Awesome.
Man, I love being able to, especially like looking at your output with Loki, dude, it's scary because not only do you guys have the double Adam, but can you explain, without revealing too much, right, how you're able to come back from an accident, because accidents happen, from getting the copy on the Captain America, right? Like, how do you get that reset when that also, listen, you guys still won. That's what matters at the end, but you guys still won. But how do you come back from a reset like that, you know, for a lot of the players at home who find themselves mentally boom quick?
I mean, it's nice to be in an official, you know, like in a scrim, I'd probably get like yelled at. In an official, it's like different because you want to keep morale high. So in scrims, I'm kind of just like, I kind of have to sit there and take it. But yeah, no, in an official, like nerves are high. You're going to make mistakes. I don't know how I got capped. Like, look, I need to watch that back. I don't even know how I got Captain America and that mess of players. But I was like trying to calm for Kurova to back like out. And it was not good. I just probably shouldn't have copied in hindsight, but it is what it is.
Well, you stayed alive. I'm sure you're still checking your shoulder for bedtime story because he was just constantly like finding you guys in the back line. And I mean, the last one was where it mattered for you guys. You know, I've got to ask, when you look ahead, right? You go and you see FlyQuest. That's going to be the matchup, right? We're here, you know, with you guys, and whoever wins that gets to punch their ticket to land. You know, lose, and you have to do one more to do and prove. So, you know, what is the difference between even a week and that is made from this team, the one that we saw on the seeding stage?
We've changed up a few things that we're gonna pull out, so I don't want to say too much, but we've changed up our bans, kind of how we approach the ban phase, which is like honestly 95% of winning a game at this high level. I feel like you really win on the ban pick phase, I'm not gonna lie, against a lot of these teams. So it's so 50-50. Like if we went into these games with no bans, I feel like it would be like overtime 50-50, like almost all these games. But that's not the reality. There are bans, and it's super important. So it's gonna be a close game. I'm excited.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we saw that on Araco. You guys banned the Angela, you banned the Punisher, the map following to answer Gale. So it did seem like you always kind of took down what was the momentum answer for that team and did a good job there. And I don't think they were actually expecting that Angela ban. Kind of had to shift up what they were planning, I'm sure, for Araco and that strategy. Listen, man, the floor is yours. I want to give you a moment to say any words you want to after that huge win to advance into this next round.
Don't be afraid to copy DPS. I love doing it. It's actually really fun. The Bucky copy, I was like, we have Groudon, they have no Tranks. I'm going to copy Bucky. I copied Punisher at the end of our attack. I don't even know if you guys picked that one up. I just melted their Hulk because they had nothing. It can be good. It can be. I copied Star-Lord. I was going to copy Star-Lord, actually, but we won the attack. So you can copy DPS, is what I'll say. And last thing is big shout-out to J3. He's going to throw it back for us. So...
There it is.
That is always a good
when
time.
I interview you guys on stage in Georgia, I expect you to shout out J3 once again, buddy. Hey, man, I gotta say, props to the whole team. Give everybody the big congrats there, from Kuro to Amazing to Madara, in the kind of the most insane finish that we have seen on this side of, you know, today. I gotta say, out of all the players that stood out to me, that was one today, the biggest change in like just insane performance. So give the shout out to him as well, man, and congrats.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's Velocity, your winner of today in Darkzero, taking down Rad in what was a valiant effort. And this has just been such a great 2 matches back-to-back, Vicky, as we're only halfway done in all of this chaos, as we can take a look here at is what to come and how we got here. Look at this bracket, though, Vicky. Rad versus Nemesis.